Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be doing a quick fire review of all three of the weekend games of AFL Community Series, the AMI Community Series, in which we had St Kilda, Port Adelaide, West Coast North and Freo versus Melbourne. I wasn't able to catch much of the St Kilda Port and the West Coast North. I did catch a lot of the Freo Melbourne, but yeah, the other two games didn't catch, I don't think, any of it. So yeah, just sort of came back and saw the scores and went, oh no, that's going to cause some chaos, and obviously the injuries are going to cause further chaos. But anyway, let's just jump into these reviews here. So McRae, if he wasn't a lock, he's a lock. Throw the key away. Like, that's how obvious this one is. He could be 35 points of upside there. He could be a 105 guy, but I'm still tempering it to sort of that 100 marker or so. 88% tog as well was really, really good. If we look at the scoring as well, 19, 35, 35, 19. Really, really good to see. He got the job done early there as well. And you'd expect St Kilda to be a better side when they do have the likes of Rowan Marshall back over Boyd. I know that Boyd did play 78% tog, but he did go 50. Just putting it out there. Everyone's saying, oh, he's done 150 in this SANFL. He's done 120 or whatever in fantasy for the SANFL last year. He just went 50 against, who was it? Jordan Sweet. That's not the hardest ruck matchup, I don't think. And he's gone 50 there. And that was pretty much full rucking that game. So yeah, I just don't expect him to do much. I expected something like this, and that was even with Romo back. So maybe are we tempering the expectations? Are we? I don't think Reedy and also Boyd, who we'll get to, are really outstanding as much as what people were expecting. So yeah, just put that in consideration. You got Hugo Garcia, 64% tog, 67. If he fits in, he fits in for me. As simple as that. I just might use depends on what I do with Hewitt, whether he's named or not, simply put, on both platforms. But yeah, he definitely has put his hand up, Hugo Garcia. So we'll see about that. Higgins, Boxall, well, he was really good. 2 goals though. 66, so quarter by quarter. He did score most of it in the first half in that second and third quarter, which was good to see. So yeah, he'll definitely be interesting. 62% time on ground was also interesting to see him get low. Wayne Malera did nothing, but I'm not too worried about him. Maybe with the restructure of the game that maybe he becomes more of a less of an option, I would say, over like a Holmes, taking a gamble there. Hasty Boyd, we went through that, and O'Connor, 54-39 splits, all right there. And that's about it. Yeah, Travalia, 28% tog, 20 points, not the greatest. Don't think he's best 22 from what I've been reading. And yeah, Connor Rozee, he took the piss. 142, and it was on 82% tog. So yeah, he definitely played what he would roughly play, but obviously he's not going to go 142, 161 splits when the real stuff happens, but just showed he's back to his best, and I think he could go 105 this year. And if he does 105, then that's huge upside. Obviously with 8 points of upside when you're a premium is huge. So yeah, definitely think he's the guy, especially with Butters out. There's points distribution that's got to go there. With Ollie Wines being, he's not really going to jump up too much, Ollie Wines, in the new role. So I think that more points will be spread to Rosie and Horne-Francis. Finlayson did his job, but I don't expect him to do this semi-regularly. I did say this on the Centre Bounce last night on their live stream, that I sort of expect Finlayson, Bergman, Evans, Burgoyne, to Kane Farrell and guys like that. Burn Jones, I think Burn Jones is playing forward now, so yeah, Burn Jones small forward. So even Sin, I forgot about him. I had to go all the way down, and Atkins probably won't play much, but those guys as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets the splits, and I just think that they're going to take points off each other, or just they sort of have a big, almost, I feel like it's going to be, say, there's going to be 5 distributors. It's probably going to be 450 points between them. 400 to 450 points between them. Who's going to take that spread is the big question, and we did see them take 140 marks, which is just not going to happen. So yeah, they did dominate in terms of the point scoring, as we saw the Saints score 11-71. That was disappointing. yeah, Bergman pretty much went through all these guys there, and then no one else here really too interesting. Berry with a 48, this is sort of what we expect for small forwards. He would be maybe in the conversation depending on the round 0 scores from the rookies there. And then Sid as well, 47, disappointing there to be honest with you. And then that's pretty much it, I would say, for this game. Let's move on to the next one, the West Coast North Melbourne game. This one's probably going to be a little bit more interesting. I think there was a little bit more blow up in this game especially. Tim Kelly, fine. Liam Baker, 83, just not much, I think, juice there, to be honest with you. Hoff, Hunt, Graham. Graham, 65, basically did what his break-even is, so yeah, I just don't see it, to be honest with you. And none of these guys really played low tog, to be honest with you, other than Harley, maybe 5-10% low for him, but he wasn't too good. No rookies really outstanding. Hutchinson, a 51 on the wing, it looked like 38 break even. He's sort of come out of conversations, I would say now. Jimby, Edwards, Archer Reed, if he gets a role, could be interesting at min price. 22, giving a little bit of a ruck roll, the backup ruck roll at Flynn. That'll be interesting. Cripps, Long, Cole, Dewar. Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting there. But the rookies for West Coast, not that outstanding. Bo Allen, I thought a little bit disappointing that he went 13, more of a lockdown role. I'll just be looking at the rookies and just seeing if Bo Allen, but the case is that Bo Allen is just money there, and that you can obviously go down, I feel like. So yeah, will be interesting. Obviously more of a super coach. I think I'll hold in super coach, but I'll see if there's options in fantasy that do it in opening round that get the cash in early, so we'll see about that, but I don't think there is necessarily, especially with a expected shortened opening round. Will be interesting to see if there is any rookies that necessarily do well, as we haven't seen anyone in particularly, and we haven't seen, I don't think, a call on opening round yet. So yeah. And there's that, as West Coast potentially in for Darcy Cameron as the time of recording for next year. So that'll definitely be interesting, and what that talks about Flynn and Bailey Williams, etc. But Bo Allen, I think it's just a pre-season stuff up. I think it'll be better. Cherry, what the heck was he doing with 14 tackles is a big question. The tackling's still there, it looks like. Obviously, I don't think he's going to put 14 tackles on in the regular season. I don't think so. So I still think his tackles do go down, but I don't think it's maybe it's not as worrying, to be honest, that he put up 14 in the trial game. There's that. 133 for him. I still expect him to come up against tougher rucks and struggle, but is that struggle still a 105 type of area? And then against the rucks like West Coast, he goes 130, 140 in the knees. Like, he did it 77% TOG, and I'm pretty sure his TOG is usually higher than that. I think it's in the 80s, I want to say. But we'll see. 84% usually. And does that have any sort of low ones? No, it was basically always in the 80s, except for against Gold Coast and Sydney. He had every other game in the 80s. So yeah, I kind of expect him to do that. What did he do last year against West Coast? 91% TOG for a 129. So yeah, I expect him to still be able to go big. It's just that early run of games is a little bit worrying. Sheasel, he's an absolute gun. He will just continue on. Powell was a little bit surprising. It's just that awkward price point, and does he lose the role? What role is he going to get, especially? So I think he's one that will be potentially a correction trade if he keeps on going, but I don't think he will. Caleb Daniel, he just decided to just hang out the back and actually provided some tackles. And I think for him, I think the 4 marks was a little bit disappointing, I would say, early on. But I think he's one that will grab more marks in the actual season, as they probably translate more to marking rather than the tackles that they had. And the market share of Cherry's tackles is quite surprising, I would say. Darling did his job pretty well. David Uniacke did all right. Colby McKercher, 24 disposals for an 80, for a 79, just not there, the role, I don't think. O'Sullivan is one that perked up in this in the trial games or the practice games, I want to say, just because of that wing roll. And then anyone else here particularly, don't think so. I don't think North have really any other rookies. Constantine, no. just not there. It was small forward role as well as Hansen, and Hansen looks better, to be honest with you. And then, yeah, no one else there. They sort of played their 22. Then we go over to Fremantle versus Melbourne, a game that I pretty much caught, in particular this game because it was on the Sunday. Clark, he was amazing, but also they had 24 behind, so he got, I think it was something dumb, like 10 kick-ins. Something, let me just double check that for you guys. But I don't expect him to get 10 kick-ins, put it lightly. So that'll be a... obviously, he should get a good chunk of kick-ins, but I think it was 10. It might have been 6. Let's just double check. Luke Ryan got the 10 and Clark got 6. So maybe Clark at 5, 6s, or maybe 3 or 4. So maybe only loses a couple kick-ins, but also the fact that he did get a lot of the marks in disposals from the actual kick-ins itself, from getting that first receive. So that'll be interesting as well. He got a lot off Corey Wagner as well, as Corey Wagner did score pretty well because of that, I feel like. So those two did pretty well off that. I still think Jordan, still think he's an option, and definitely an option. And I think he's floated in and around the side from memory before I wiped it clean. I think he'll be a guy that I consider heavily, especially if the games get called off. I think it just opens up some avenues with some with the Brisbane and the Geelong players, and I think maybe not starting that primo on round 0, even though it's a primo like a Whitfield. It's probably less worthwhile now that you have less teams on the round 0. Ryan Johnson was surprising 88, but I don't know how that, and we discussed it last night on the live, how that fourth midfielder is really going to go, because you've got Sarong, Brayshaw, and also, where's the other midfielders? Even just those two. And then you're obviously going to have Young. You've got 5 that didn't play there as well. How's O'Driscoll, Murphy Reeds, Matthew Ryan, Matt Johnson, and also, who did I miss? Erasmus going to fit into that mould there with those guys out. So it's just really hard to judge, I feel like, for Freo. So we want to see that team list. O'Driscoll did really well on 3 quarters effectively, because he just didn't turn up in the first quarter. Scored 44 in the last though, which is a little bit annoying because that last quarter was weird and awkward. But yeah, he did end up on 87 from 2 goals. So if he does get a run, he could be an option. But I'm more keen with the likes of a Sheldrick, who I expect to be in the better role, I would say. Brayshaw, 79, was a little bit disappointing. Sarong didn't play the last quarter for an 88, so that was all right. As well as someone else didn't play, I swear, the last quarter as well. Yeah, you had just weird time on ground for some players, and yeah, basically to sum it all up, Reedy was horrific, don't go into him, even at that R3. May, Petrarca, Gawn, Oliver, all their guys back to their best. That was really, really good to see. Oliver is the easiest layup that you've seen. He's back to his best, it looks like. And 81% Tog, 112 for him. Take the 3 goals out, and he's still getting a... What's that? 3 goals, 1, take out 19. That's still a 93. And that's almost still valuable at 78, even though we sort of expect him to do better. And he didn't do much non-disposal work as well, so I expect him to be able to do that. And also, I think he had 50% CBA, so we expect slightly more as well from him. I think they were just trying to get him through the preseason, which he had no preseason last year. Max Gawn, obviously that R2 or sort of R1, R2, because it would be Cherry R1, I think. Yeah, I think they're reversed in Supercoach, but in Fantasy they're Cherry's R1. Gawn, he was really good, but copped a couple of knocks and showed his age, I would say. Petrarca, absolute gun, plus 30. I just don't know if I can go the double Melbourne. Langdon, so annoying. I wanted this role for Rivers because that would have opened up so much, but Langdon, I feel like he got a really good game, but he's not going to be able to back that up. Really annoying that Rivers had a shocker of a game. And then the rookies there, I was sort of surprised how the split went between Lindsay, sort of Adams, and as well as Windsor, I would say, and what Weeding came on late. So I think Lindsay could do a lot better. I think his time will get better. So I expect Lindsay to go about 60 or so, just given how good the May, Petrarca, Gawn is. And I think also May won't score as well as that, obviously. And I think some of the points will be shed to a likes of a Lindsay and the Windsor. And also I think Langford's probably called a little bit on him, but also 55% Tog. I think he'll get better than that. So yeah, I think those two guys will probably score in the 50s and 60s. It will just be, I think there's going to be better options that are cheaper or that score around the same point as points per game as them, but they're 10 points cheaper, give or take. So that'll be a wait and watch with them. But I'm probably leaning with Lindsay because I thought his role was a lot better than Langford. And we knew this Langford role, I just thought he'd be able to score a little bit better than that, but maybe it's so much Tog related, to be honest with you. And then Sharp, Weed and Piggott. Piggott only played a quarter and then went straight into the middle, which he, I think, had more CBAs than Harvey Langford, which was a little bit annoying to see that, but can be a little bit expected. And that's pretty much it for this whole 3-game review there from the St Kilda Port game all the way through to the Fremantle Melbourne game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. And if you're listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there, and I will see you guys back tomorrow for more videos. Bye guys.